Video games often overpromise and underdeliver, and racing games are no exception. Overhyping a game nearly always leads to disappointment and failed fan expectations. Likewise, critics don't always get it right and can overpraise racing games in popular franchises. Racing games are often graphically impressive, but this makes it easy to overlook their flaws, from poor car handling to repetitive campaigns and events. I'm Mark from RacingGames, and it's time to take off our rose-tinted glasses as I tell you about 5 of the most overrated racing games. Just to be clear, we're not calling these games bad by any stretch. We're just saying they may not have been as good as we were first promised, or even as good as we all remember. Yep, we're starting big. With over 37 million sales, Mario Kart Wii is the second best-selling game in the franchise, second only to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario Kart's Wii debut was praised for introducing motorcycles, motion controls and online multiplayer, but it's also one of the most overrated Mario Kart games. While the Wii wheel bundled with the game effectively showcased the console's motion technology and made the game more accessible, it also dumbed down the controls. Using a Wii wheel was fun for the family, but it lacked precision. If you thought that AI rubber banding in past Mario Kart games was frustrating, Mario Kart Wii took it to another level. The AI difficulty is brutal in 1500cc mode, while the overuse of power-ups makes the races too chaotic. It's a frustrating experience as the unbalanced power-up system makes it impossible to defend yourself from attacks. Getting taken out with blue shells every lap just simply isn't fun. Yes, the game did sell very well, but let's not forget it was bundled with a Wii console, so you could argue that inflated sales higher than they otherwise would have been. When The Crew was announced in 2013 with a cinematic CGI trailer, the hype was enormous. With former Test Drive Unlimited developers on the team, The Crew promised an epic racing experience with a large open-world recreation of the United States to explore and an RPG-style customization system. But while The Crew's open world is an impressive technical achievement, it overshadows the game's flaws. The map's massive size means it takes roughly 45 minutes to drive from coast to coast, but it feels empty, and the scale compromises the visuals. The Crew's map is the perfect example of proving less can be more. Perhaps a smaller map would have made the game feel more populated. Forming crews and cruising with friends is fun, but rubber banding AI opponents that get speed boosts near the end of events make the offline races feel like a chore. Even though Ubisoft Reflections, the developer of Driver San Francisco, helped develop the game, the car handling is loose and unsatisfying, and the less said about the Crew's storyline, the better. Despite these flaws and mixed reviews, The Crew has a loyal fan base, and Ubisoft still supports the sequel with updates, helping it become one of the most popular games of the last generation. Before we move on, have you subscribed to RacingGames yet? Just one click and you're on the RacingGames grid. Oh, and hit that notification bell too so you never miss an upload. Alright, on with the video. I'm putting my hard hat on for this one. Released in 2005, Need for Speed Most Wanted is one of the most fabled Need for Speed games, with many fans regarding it as the best in the series' history. Granted, the police chases are heart-poundingly intense, and the car list is excellent, but the career mode is underwhelming. In Most Wanted, you play as a rookie racer on a mission to retrieve your modified BMW M3 GTR, one of the most iconic Need for Speed vehicles, stolen by a gang of notorious street racers known as the Blacklist after losing the introductory race. Career events require you to defeat all 15 Blacklist racers, but this system gets repetitive very quickly, with repeated tracks, challenges and race types. Combine this with the cringeworthy dialogue, a dull open world, limited customization options compared to Need for Speed Underground, and frustrating AI rubber banding, and cracks start to form. Need for Speed Most Wanted is not a bad game by any means. I repeat, not a bad game by any means, but its flaws should not be overlooked just because it is the best Need for Speed game. There's no denying that Forza Horizon 5 is a technical triumph. With crisp 4K graphics, a silky smooth performance, and photorealistic environments, Forza Horizon 5 is a visual treat. The fact that Playground Games managed to scale the game to the ancient Xbox One hardware with little compromise is a testament to the team's talent. Forza Horizon 5 is one of the highest rated racing games of all time, but that doesn't mean it's flawless. Despite the diverse range of environments, the open world map of Mexico is empty and lifeless. Forza Horizon games have followed the same formula for years now, and Forza Horizon 5 is no exception, with its repetitive events and copy and paste festival playlists. Our recent video on Forza Horizon 5 sums it up perfectly. In single player, the game is dull. In multiplayer, it's the best game ever. Forza Horizon 5 has a huge roster of cars, but they never feel earned. Wheelspin's hand play as the most expensive cars with little to no effort, removing the sense of reward. Exploring the open world environment is fun at first, but connection issues still plague the multiplayer convoy system 6 months after release. Aside from the graphics, Forza Horizon 5 does little to improve on Forza Horizon 4, with no new modes or event types. This lack of innovation hasn't gone unnoticed either, as players have been leaving in droves. The upcoming expansions will hopefully help reinvigorate Forza Horizon 5, but Forza Horizon 6 really needs to shake up the formula. If our Need for Speed entry didn't wind you up, this one most likely will. As the first mainline Gran Turismo game in nearly a decade, Gran Turismo 7 was one of the most hyped racing games of the last few years. Whereas GT Sport shunned single player in favour of competitive online multiplayer sanctioned by the FIA, GT7 looked like it was going to be a return to form with a substantial single player campaign harking back to the original games. Gran Turismo 7 received glowing reviews, with critics praising the game's graphics and car handling, but its reputation was nearly tarnished soon after launch when a post-release update nerfed the in-game economy. This made it harder to afford the most expensive cars, tempting players to resort to microtransactions. Thankfully, recent updates have fixed this, but Gran Turismo 7 still has some glaring issues. Chiefly, campaign progress is hindered by the mandatory GT Cafe menu books that feel like glorified tutorials. After completing the cafe menu books, license tests and driving missions, there really isn't much to do in the campaign to keep you coming back. Gran Turismo 7 has some great cars, but there aren't enough events to race in them. Previous Gran Turismo campaigns kept players hooked for hundreds of hours, but Gran Turismo 7's campaign feels undercooked. It's a shame because the driving experience is the best in class, especially after the recent physics update. Gran Turismo 7 is still a great game overall, but it's not quite the return to glory we hoped for after such a long wait. So that's our list. Now we know these entries are entirely subjective, so do let us know down below which games you feel are overrated, and perhaps we'll run a part 2 on this subject. Oh, and keep an eye out on the channel in the next couple of weeks for our follow-up on underrated racing games too. For now though, thanks for watching. I've been Mark from RacingGames, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and now I'm off to give Need for Speed Most Wanted another try, just in case the cutscenes have somehow become less cringe-inducing over the years, although I'm not really getting my hopes up on that one.